Hey there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. Today, the Duff Dog and I are going to see if we can get a 1960 Cadillac Coupe DeVille running for the first time in who knows how many years. Following the owner up a dirt trail, and yeah, we're doing the sight unseen thing. What do you think, Poppy? You gonna get in on this? Oh, they got some other puppies here too, so this might be exciting. All right, let's get this thing loaded up. It's not pink, it's blue, it looks like. Dang it. Look at all the puppies. We got a lab, and we got a couple other ones. I'm guessing that's the car. That's a 59.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I need to get that one. What else is out here? Tin grill Mopars. Ramp deck car trailer, square body, another tin grill, OBS. Where are we going? Oh, there she is.
Right there.
Looks like it's pewter. Tan, gold, something like that. Little 63 Falcon. No.
Fairlane.
Are we about that vintage? Maybe a 4. Ooh, a Datsun. Puddin would be excited. Square body. Let's check her out. Well, I guess we made a deal. It's blowing about 40 miles an hour today here in the prairie pothole region of South Dakota. So, not gonna be much filming outside. Got my old man here and this guy, and we're gonna try to put some air in the tires. I'm gonna get the old Expedition backed up to her and get her winch down. We'll check her out when we get her home. He said it was Ramlin parked, of course. Weren't they all? Who parks a car after it don't run no more? We might have to come back here. There's some good stuff. What do you think, boys? All right, let's get her loaded up. There's the trailer with you. You can probably get 3 at a time with that hog. All right, got her loaded up. Everything went pretty well. Only one of the tires is holding air. We're gonna go and get his floor jack from the shop, shift her over here a little bit so that it's not rubbing the rocker panel on the fender. We're gonna head for the flatlands. We made her back to Mortske Worldwide here with the 60 Cadillac. These 2 tires would not take air. So, you know, that really bothers me. So we're gonna see if we can round up some 5-on-5 wheels and tires to throw on there, or tube these up. I don't know. I don't know if they're worth tubing. They look pretty old and dry rotted and hard. This is not the correct rim. This is like a Buick rim, I think. It's got the old whatever. It's supposed to have snaps there that clip in there. It's got like the baby moon style caps. Is this a factory? Yeah, I think this is a factory. They got a big offset on these Cadillac rims. The previous owner was telling us how he put good tires, 2 good tires on it so it would roll around. It's not that one. This is probably the best tire, and I think this was a little bit low by the time we got here. I'm betting it'll be low in the morning. What do you think, Duff? Yeah, there was other dogs there, so you didn't get to sniff around the old 60 Cadillac. It's not too great. Not too bad, though. Oh, look at that nice jewel on the old license plate there, huh, Duff? You're missing it. 89. So, holy buckets. What's that? Carry the potato. 6 1/4. 33 years. She's been off the road. He said they had it running when he got it a few years ago, so I don't know what that means. I guess I could look at the title and see when he got it. It's got 2 T3 headlights. Is that one over there? Oh, 2 out of 4 ain't bad. Looks like it's got 2 mirrors over there. We're not gonna do a walk around right now. It's late in the day. We had to do some farming on the way home, so we were running the tractor for, I don't know, what time is it now? Anyway, like 5-6 hours. Because we're supposed to get a snowstorm here in the next couple of days, so if we do get this thing running, we might be doing some snow donuts. Snow nuts? Is that what we're calling them? Snow nuts? Or is that offensive? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I've about had her for tonight, so maybe we'll get her jacked up and get those wheels off, and then when it's daylight, go looking for some other ones. Yeah, hopefully the fender skirts are in there, because these cars look hideous without them, don't they, Duff? These cars, they have to have them. They're designed to have them. She's a Sedan DeVille. All right, I'm not going to ruin the walk around. See you guys tomorrow. All right, I lied. These tires actually took shape pretty well. It's a Phillips 66 wide action tread. Oh yeah. Load range B 4-ply with the polyester cord. Never mind that the tread's just gonna separate at any point now. Speaking of pointing, what are you pointing at? There's nothing really exciting up here other than the control arms are like upside down. It looks like, you know, that's the way they were from the factory. It seems like all the dirt sits in there, which is kind of weird. But look at this. They got the control arms for the rear end backwards as well. Duff, I gotta show them that control arm. So can you get out of the way, please? Wanna open the hood? Come on. Just let me carry on and show the people what they want to see. Okay, thank you. All right, look at this lower control arm. It's the stamping is upside down, so it's like an upside down U. And you can see all the dirt sat in there and completely rotted it out. Yeah, that's not good for business. The other side looks pretty much perfect. So we might have to scab that together a little bit before we go for a ride. And what do I love more than flexi hoses? Flexi exhaust pipes. But wait, there's more. But I'm not done yet. I don't know if that's heat tape over there or what they got going on. Oh, it's a zip tie holding it up back there. Dang. And some mechanics wire. Nothing but the finest. Duff's checking it all out. Don't worry, we got the jack stand over here. All right, put these wheels on and sit her on the ground. All right, we got the Cadillac off the trailer. That tire's leaking, so we're gonna have to fix it. It was flat this morning when I unloaded the trailer, but we pumped her up. It's been holding air all day. So let's take a closer look at this thing, and you guys can listen to my fuel oil furnace blast because it's cold out. So the furnace runs. It's got a really nice front clip. There's supposed to be this little chrome badgy hoo here, and it's missing on this side. Almost looks like the hood was painted at one time. Maybe it was a turquoise. Antenna's bent. Somebody added on this mirror. I don't know why you need two mirrors and what good this one's gonna do up here versus that one back there. I mean, this thing was probably a chore to see around anyway, and then you only have one mirror to do it. I would think that a Cadillac, you know, you get power windows and an Autronic eye, which is an automatic dimming light, or yeah, your high beams and low beams, you would think that you would just automatically get two mirrors, but apparently not. Looks like there was plants actually growing inside, so you know, this is our first greenhouse we've had. It appears there's some piece of trim in there. We're probably gonna find out where that's missing from. This car, I didn't even look at the body. I was just like, 60 Cadillac, amazing. We'll take it, right, Duff? This car is rusty, super rusty. He did say that it was rusty in the floors, but I mean, that bumper is shot. The grill is nice. This emblem is missing. Wrong wheel. Oh, that's found out where that trim piece goes. It's right there, Duff, right there. You're just chomping at the bit to check it out. It's got the door edge guards. I don't know if these were an option on Cadillac, if they were factory original. I don't think Cadillac made a post car in 59 or 60. This is a 60. If I say 59 enough, maybe it'll just turn into a 59. How great would that be, Duff? Oh, now the compressor's running too. All right, I apologize for all this noise. That's just part of having a shop. So we're gonna go crack a sandwich and we're gonna wait for things to quiet down a little bit. But first, Duff's gonna open the hood for you. Maybe. You wanna open the hood? Come on, open the hood for him. Ready? You are a good dog. You even know how to open Cadillac hoods. All right, we're gonna let it quiet down in the shop a bit here. Finally quieted down, huh, Duff? So, like I was telling you, this thing was last tagged. Oh!
Whoa, Dad.
Hey, Dad.
There you are, Dad.
Dad! Hey, Dad!
Dad noises. In 1989, South Dakota goes by, well, the first 10 numbers go by the largest city. So 1 is Sioux Falls, 2 is Rapid City, 3 is Aberdeen, 4 is Huron, 5 is Watertown, 6 is Brookings, 7 is Mitchell. I don't know what 8, 9, and 10 are. I probably do if I thought about it real hard. But, and then after that, they go in alphabetical order. So 22 is Day County, where actually I got this car. But 23 is Dual County, because Day comes before Dual, yada, yada, yada. And then the last one is like 62 or 1, and it's Ziebach County. Your worthless information of the day. So at least when you, I think Wyoming does the same thing. There's probably other states, but you get behind somebody from South Dakota and you can look at their license plates and tell where they're from unless they have non-denominational plates. The more you know. So this thing came from, we'll just call it a reservation town area. So I'm not going to be surprised if we see some interesting things. The title was dated 2018, so that's when he got it. He claims they had it running for him when he got it. Maybe we can find a date code on this Delco battery, but that is clearly newer than 1989. And it looks like they were just running her off this cute little Pronto jug. Maybe we can find a ETF. Maybe we can find a date code on that thing. Well, this is probably the date code right there. 17/3/20/21/53. I don't know. Who knows? But it hasn't been on the road legally since 1989. Let's get the old AC Roto Safe cap. See if we got any coolant going on in there. Of course not. Looks like we got a little wire action going on with our throttle linkage. Somebody's had some hoses off. He did say something about these wires. You had to twist them together to start it or something. The guy admittedly said he wasn't a mechanic. Car does have power steering, power brakes. This, I believe, is a vacuum reservoir jar thing of sorts. I don't know what this thing is, but it says perfect circle on it. Maybe that's the cruise control, because it looks like it's hooked up to the throttle linkage. Got that linkage going back there. Who knows? Who knows? I kind of want to rub that off, but there ain't much left to rub on. So yeah, we're just gonna say that's, oh yeah, runs the throttle linkage. The carburetor's loose, that's good to know. This is a 390 Cadillac. I believe they used this engine from 1959 through 1961. Then they had a different 390 from 62 on up to like 67 or something like that. Before that, the predecessor to these was the 365, like our 56 Cadillac had, so they share a lot of What is that little vent down there? There must be some type of vacuum canister in the inner fender there. Can you see that? I don't know. I got stuff tucked in everywhere. I didn't mention that it's got a flexi hose on the top and the bottom. I tried to turn it over by the fan, but it's got a clutch fan, which is pretty interesting for 1960. Where is the dipstick at on this thing, Jimmy? Oh, there it is. Well, it's way over full, and it also says, do not overfill. It even says the cap is 5 quarts. What a deal. And it's real good and black, so it should be just fine. How about the power steering fluid? Do we ever check that? Use automatic trans fluid type A. Check level with oil warm. Well, it's at room temperature. Well, there's no dipstick on it, Jimmy. You just fill it till you can see it in there. Looks nice and clean in there, though, at least. So what I like to do is put bounce sheets to keep mice from making nests. And he put a bunch of those in there, so that was nice of him. So hopefully there's no mouse nests. Look at how far back that radiator sits from the grill. I mean, these things are long, and then that engine is still a ways back, and I got this great big radiator support in between. Looks like it's a factory AC car. There's our condenser. There's our compressor. Yeah, I don't know. Still had a generator in 1960 on Cadillacs. Looks like there might have been some body work done in that corner. A little rust on that fender lip. This side of the bumper's a lot better, but she's still a little soft in the corners. Just a ton of trim on these cars. All around the windshield, all across here, top of the fender, side of the fender, around the wheelhouse. Just everywhere. Huge cars. They call this a flat top. I believe flat tops were only 59 and 60, and that's four-door hardtop car. I think they call it that because it's pretty flat, obviously. And then it's got this little tiny baby mullet sticking off the back. Did these have a third brake light? Or did somebody put one in? I don't know. Duff's like, open the door for me. Okay, yeah, and maybe somebody dinged up this. There might have been a mirror on this at one time. See how that fender doesn't, I don't know. We need to look and see what this purple fuchsia whatever color it is. Oh, Duff, watch out. There's no floors. Hey, let's patch this tire up so that we can put that on and swap it out and get rid of this leaky one, huh? Hopefully it fits. We should probably check that wheel pattern first. That would be my luck. Oh, it's even holding air. Michelin XW4, just like that one. What a deal. Somebody put a cover on the seat. It's got a power seat, I'm almost positive. Power locks. It's got power windows. They're up here. Ooh, she smells of mothballs. It's got the AC vents. It's a Cadillac, in case you didn't know. So I got the Wonder Bar radio. More stations. Who knows? That's pretty nifty. Amp gauge under the dash. Oh, he's got the... Oh, there's some big poops on top of the bounce sheets too, so... Yeah. Yeah. Those floors are no good. Looks like it's got a glass back. It's pretty bad, but you can tell it's got glass backs through the floors. No tilt. I don't know if those were even an option. Let's get the glove box open. Let's be brave. Custom repair work on the seat. Oh yeah, we'll just put that back. Oh, no way. The mices didn't get in there. Oh, I need this. The Millionaire's Handbook. I mean, why wouldn't somebody with a Cadillac carry that around? What is this? A little note in there? Dear friend, here's your handbook on how you can protect a multi-million-dollar cash prize. Well, we are sorry you were not selected this time by the independent judging organization to receive one of the small $250 prizes in cash check sweepstakes. We hope that you will continue to enter and enter often. Remember, you could be our next multi-million-dollar cash prize winner. And if you win, the tips in this enclosed handbook could help you and your family be financially secure for the rest of your life. Robert Pearson, like the originator of the Ponzi scheme, it looks like. Be sure to be on the lookout for your next USPE mailing, which will be filled with new opportunities for you to win. Oh yeah, the Millionaire's Handbook. What a deal. When was this thing? $3.95. What year? Does it tell you? Peter Morton Dunn. 1991. Huh. So, that was put in here after the car was registered. Ooh, my automobile record book. It's a 49 to 51 Merc. I believe that's a 49 on there. And of course, nobody ever entered a single thing in there. Good stuff. It's the thought that counts, right, Duff? Oh, what else is in here? Tire gauge? Tire gauge. Hey, get right in there. A compass, Duff. That's what the little dot on the windshield is for, the compass. There's some big poops in there. A jewel for the license plate. Some sheet metal screws. That's about it. Not even the factory owner's manual. What's this? Who owned it last? Maynard. Oh, it's got a name, Duff. Maynard. How does it smell in there? It smells like mothballs. And I hate mothballs. You ever smelled mothballs? How do you get them to spread their legs? Dad jokes.
We are laughing.
How's the back seat? Well, looks like the door handle's coming loose. Look at these cool little swirly swirls in the trim.
That's pretty neat.
Oh, it's even got lighters in the back seat. Look at this. Did these come with factory pillows? Is that the original pillow? It sure looks like it matches the upholstery. That's pretty swanky. Fold down center. Also, Carmen. Oh, that's a lot of poop. Oh yeah, she is ripe in here. You have the old crap handles on the back of the seat. A little lumbar support there, or I don't know, for your face. It's not good in there. I mean, the floor is good enough that it's holding that brick there, but barely. Yeah, let's keep on keeping on. He did have the tail lights. I think they're in the Expedition. I guess they fell out because it's so rusty, or you didn't want somebody stealing them. I don't know. I did tie the trunk shut with this piece of V-belt. It's got a tow hitch, even though the only thing this thing was pulling was tail. I don't know what that shield is for. Maybe he was a war veteran or something. Let's check out what's inside the trunk once I get my belt undone. Hold on, ladies. I'm guessing the trunk, did it have like, oh, there was a tire sitting on it to keep it down. That's what that was. I was thinking it had like a spare tire looking thing there. What do they call those? Continental kit of sorts? Yeah, she's been hit pretty good in the trunk lid. What do we got back here? One spare hubcap, a utility caddy, a tire. Well, those are probably the brakes from the car, and they were probably locked up. Great. Oh, I found the culprit of said mothballs. They're the old-fashioned. What are new-fashioned? Kills clothes moths, eggs and larvae. Yeah, I don't. Are moths a bad thing? I've probably only seen, you know, a handful of moths in my entire life, and I don't know that they were an issue with clothes. It was, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the whole moth thing. Whatever. I guess it keeps mice out. Keeps everything out. They stink so bad. Gross. I wouldn't want to go in there. Another brake. Well, this is the trim for the trunk. Some windshield washer fluid. Somebody was nice enough to put their trash in here, it looks like. Well, that was so nice of them. Coolant, maybe it was consuming some of that. Some more trim. Yeah, nothing good. I was kind of hoping for the fender skirts or full set of hubcaps. I don't even know if that's the right hubcap. I'm not a Cadillac expert. I'm guessing it probably is. Cadillac experts, comment down below. I was thinking they were deeper. I think they had like really deep hubcaps on these 60s, but who knows? I know 59, no, what are the, like the 57, 89 Eldorado caps are worth big bucks. Is that where the fuel filler's at? Oh, it swings sideways. Huh. Yeah, for being a big car, it ain't all smashed up though. It's a shame it's so rusty. This would be a good one to drop on like a NASCAR chassis of sorts or a different chassis because the floor's already wasted anyway and you gotta redo it. Then they got these cool little lights in the tail fins. I think those are just a marker light. 59s are the super iconic car, and they have the two great big long bullets that sit in the tail fin, and that's what makes the 59s way more desirable than a 60, unfortunately. So yeah, that almost was kind of a pinkish color, wasn't it, Duff? We might have to look up, see what that's called. I always dig the names of those things. How many miles are on? Oh, look at this guy. He's already like, oh, this is my car. Yeah, I locked the door on you so you can't get in. What do you think of this thing, pal? Oh, I can't tip that seat ahead because it's a 4-door. He's pretty excited. Yep, power seat right there. I guess that's windows. That's for the mirror. Here's an automatic. I don't know that you could get a manual in a Cadillac this vintage. It's got a clock. He gave me the key. He was real proud that he had the original key. How many miles are on her, Duff? It looks like 54,270, so 54,000 miles. How does the brake pedal look? The power brake pedal looks like 54,000 miles. Yep, good stuff. Is it a Wonder Bar? Don't the Wonder Bars have 2 dimmer switches? I only see 1 dimmer switch. I don't know much about Wonder Bars either though. Oh yeah, there's our cruise control. Pull to cruise. Low, off, and your washers, your wipers were all controlled right there. Air conditioning was controlled there. Heater was over there. Radio and speakers there. Oh, it's got the day-night mirror as well. And like I said, there's our Autronic Eye, which is your automatic dimmer, which is kind of a neat deal. Did they even, like, did that come back? Is that a thing? I don't even know if I've ever ridden a car that's had automatic dimming lights in the 21st century. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're just gonna throw a battery in this thing and see if it cranks over because we can't turn by the fan and we're lazy. And it ran when it parked, and it wasn't that many years ago. So here we go. All right, did a little Google boxing. These manuals don't tell you that kind of stuff, but we looked it up, and it's got this code on here. It's J, which is the series, which is a professional series. It's got a 7-year warranty. 05 unit is made in 2015, so it still might have warranty. And then there's LR, which is, I think, the plant where it was made at. So that battery's from 2015, so it was at least 2015 when they started it. Maybe they were using a used battery. Who knows? So this thing has been running at least since 2015, or attempted to run. The thing about these Cadillacs, I don't know what group size it is, but I feel like they had like a really long battery, wide. Looks like the battery tray is toasty. Toasty. So we got a couple pieces of plywood in there. I'm guessing that's a power going to our battery cable or our starter. These are the strangest ends on them. I kind of like that ginormous nut thing on there, but the red one's going to the ground over here, and that red one's going to the starter. So looks like old Hot Wheels is our battery sponsor this week. Yeah, you go back inside and take a nap. No, I wasn't talking about you. All right, sparkage. Nope, good to go. That is a terrible, terrible connection. Both of these are. But what happens when we twist these wires together over here? Let's see what happens when we... Oh, one of these has got power. I heard some arcing, I thought. Oh yeah. I hear things going on. I don't know if that's the points or the starter trying. Anyway, probably shouldn't let these touch anything that's grounded. Let's take the old air cleaner lid off, see what kind of mouse house action we got. Ooh, nothing, surprisingly. That's always a pleasant sight. Come on. Man, why did they need to make such a big air cleaner? Can't even get her out of there. Looks real good. Let's chase down said wires. Looks like they're going down to the starter. Not, oh my gosh. Oh my word. No bueno. So these are like a 12 gauge wire. Can you see down there? Can you see it? Yeah, those things are all sorts of melted and frayed, and I don't know if they're chewed on by critters, but we need to address that situation before we continue any further. Because, yeah, we're gonna burn the shop down, and we got plenty of ways to lose the shop. Burning it down is not real high on my priority list. So I'm gonna unhook the battery and see if we can address that situation. I'm guessing they just bypassed the starter solenoid wire, so hopefully we can just put the loser switch down there. We got to get rid of that stuff or it's going to arc out and crank over on its own and burn the shop down. On a positive note, the Duffel up, I guess, has fallen in love with this thing. All right, so we found something interesting underneath there when I was trying to mess with the starter, so we just scooted her over here onto the hoist. And by me, I mean me and the golf cart back there, because I don't know where he went. He's not in there. I checked the car. But yeah, he's not much help. But let's take a look at the bottom side of this thing before I show you what I found. It's worth the wait. So this exhaust pipe was plugged up, clearly. Held up with a zip tie. That looks like way newer than 1989. I'm guessing there was a bumper bracket here that went over to said rusty bumper. Looks like they just bolted some angle iron to the rear cross member for the tow hitch, and then some flat iron in between the bumper brackets. I'm sure it was fine for pulling a horse trailer. That's what Cadillac folks do, right? This pipe ain't plugged up, and the original mount's kind of there, but the old flexi pipe kind of rotted out. Looks like it's got the original Delco shocks, the old pleasurizers. What do these got, like 12-inch brakes on them? They're huge. I think this is a 9.3-inch rear end. Again, huge. But look at this masterpiece. Is that like aluminum tape? And then they got some mechanics wire wrapped around it. Nothing but the finest down there in dual. Oh, and they didn't just wrap it around repeatedly. They tied it off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times. Yeah, that's a work of art right there. That belongs in a museum somewhere. Inner quarter's pretty rotten. Trunk floor isn't too bad compared to the floor up front, you know. That's fine, don't worry about that. That's purely cosmetic. Okay, she's soft. And again on the inner quarter panel. Trash coming out the quarter there. Oh, instead of a brake hose in the center, they had a brake line running down each side and then a brake hose on each side. That's interesting. Coil spring rear. It's got this, it's like a 3-link design. 2 lowers and then 1 wishbone upper. Coming up here further on the exhaust, looks like, I don't know, is that like some fiberglass wrapping they put on there? This lower control arm is a little squishy. Not as bad as the other side. I'm guessing this is the fuel line, and they wrap some 3/4-inch heater hose around some rubber hose, around some steel line and some hose clamps and some mechanics wire and another hose clamp, and yeah, quality action at its finest. And this, I'm sure that rear end's got to be out of alignment, because I feel like that should be a straight line. Yeah, that's kind of a straight line right there, isn't it? Sure enough. So we're probably gonna want to address that before we go too far. There's the T for our brake lines. That one goes that side. This one's been replaced. Going over to the passenger side. Pinion seal's leaking a little bit. U-joint's tight. I must have some type of rubber isolator or something in the drive shaft. These are an X-frame car. There's a carrier bearing right there. Exhaust is pretty rotted out there. Clearly it's rotted out there, so we're gonna have to do some cutting on some exhaust. I bet this thing sounded good, those cute little glass packs and some twice pipes. There's the dash from underneath if you wanted to see what that looks like. Some more wire going on, and those are like 3 different styles and kinds of wire. That's even some automotive wire or electrical wire in there, you know, that's good stuff. And then it looks like they put some type of, I don't know, goo around it to seal it up. I don't know what that is. It's not mud, it's something somebody put on there. Good stuff. Oh, you can angle those vents even. What a deal. There's the transmission. I'm guessing it's a 2-speed, maybe it's a 3. These cars are really hard to put exhaust on, these X-frame cars, because you got to sneak out and down and around and then follow the X and underneath and find somewhere to put a muffler. These at least give you a spot for the muffler, the 63s and 4s like that. Floor plan drops down, and that's why they did this, put the frame here so the floor could be nice and low. Your worthless information of the day. Yeah, we need to just cut all that exhaust off. You can see just how deep she was sitting when I got it. That looks like the current dirt that it was sitting in. Looks like our sway bar end link's about rotted off. Looks like our brake hose is about rotted off. Yep, they took the brakes out of this one. You can see that's where the brake pin would go through to hold the front brakes to get her rolling. Same thing on this side. Oh yeah, she was sitting right in the dirt when they drug her out the last time and scun up those sway bar end links. Is that a lift block or is that factory? I'm guessing that's factory. It's not a twist in. Or maybe not. It's got 2 on this side. Only 1 on this side. Must have been a big boy or gal that was driving and had her sagged out, so they beefed her up with some extra support. But the reason we're all here is said starter. So our red wires come down here. And look at this. There's like some random ball of, I think it's the same stuff they put on the exhaust. I don't know, some type of goo that they, I don't know, cryogenically tar insulated something or other. So we're gonna try to figure out what we got going on here for the starter wire. And we're just gonna unhook all that stuff and go with a loser switch for now until we figure out what exactly is going on, because that is bad news. Speaking of bad news, oh look, a Fram. Just kidding, I don't hate Frams, I love Frams. It's a PH11. So don't comment down below how Frams are great, they're amazing. I've ran them for 40 years, never had a problem. Those are good. Oh, yeah, somebody's ruined the fuel line on this car a couple of times. They had a couple of unions in there, like, why wouldn't you just run a whole new line? I'm sure those fittings cost just as much as 5 feet of line. Okay, I'm gonna mess with the starter. This is good. This is like west of 281 stuff, but it's actually east of 281. This is some downtown dual stuff. Is there a lot of cowboys in Dual County? I don't know. Cowboys and Cadillacs. So we got it all cleaned off. Sure enough, exactly what I thought. There's 3 wires with eyelets on them, and just a 5/16 bolt going right through them. It looks like this is the original one and would have had battery power and went to the starter terminal. I took this one off, which was coming off the starter terminal. So I kind of need to figure out, I'm guessing one of these had power and was going over there to touch off the starter, which would have been this one. And I don't know what these other ones they got going on there for. I still don't know how this works. I got to dig into it some more, but that's what was under that ball. 3 eyelets and a wire nut, or not a wire nut. It identifies as a wire nut now because, yeah, it's nutting some wires together. So let's take that apart and dig into it. I took this yellow wire, rubbed her too hard, and it came off. That's supposed to go up to the coil, so you get 12 volts when you're cranking it over, but we need to get this out of there because we can't just have power floating around everywhere burning things down. So let's do a little more investigating. I'm going to take that nut apart and figure all these wires went and get rid of them. So here's what we had going on here. Look at that. Just look at it. Would you look at it?
Would you look at this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh, lucky they didn't burn this car to the ground. So they had one of these hooked up to the starter, which was battery power, fed over to the other side, and then another one came back and it was bolted onto this nut. And when you twisted those two together, that powered literally everything up except for, you know, the starter power. So there was another wire underneath here. I'll see if I can show you. This one goes up to the voltage regulator. That one's been replaced. And then this one goes inside and powers the entire car, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, there's a lot of amperage going on in there. Well, I mean, I'm guessing it just ground out against the body or something. You know, they tried, I think that was just to hold them together. That wasn't even trying to insulate it, but yeah, terrible wiring. So we got the loser switch hooked up. We're just gonna set her on the ground and see if she cranks over with the loser switch. And by golly, it better, because we didn't buy this thing for the body. Hopefully that engine's real sound like you said it was. No doubt in my mind it is. Those dual county boys, they don't lie. Otherwise, all we got was a really cool jewel out of the deal. Cool jewel. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Okay, shouldn't be any smoke. I'm guessing it's not going to turn over with those battery connections, but we're going to try it anyway. I looked it up on my smartphone. Smarter than me. Persian sand. Persian sand iridescent. Persian sand is what it's called. Also, while I was routing the loser switch here, I was looking at the wiring for our blower motor. And that's clearly been modified and has had a bad day as well. So yeah, I'm guessing there's going to be some electrical gremlins in the old Maynard here. All right. Ooh, it's lighting up, so we got power. Look at that. Perfect. Now, let's take and run some power to the coil and see if we got some sparky spark. Sounds like it's got good compression too, so that's a plus. Yes. Oh, it looks like somebody put a choke cable in there at one point. I mean, because why wouldn't they? I don't know what these wires... What, wires in the carburetor in 1960? Oh, I bet those are for the... Was that an electric? Oh, maybe for the... I don't know. It looks like there's a high idle thing here, but it's runoff vacuum, or maybe it's for the AC. That is one ginormous AC compressor. But, yeah, I don't know what run the choke. I doubt it was electric, but I'm sure it was automatic being a Cadillac. Okay, run a jumper wire to our coil. See what we can get. All the spark plug wires look like they're there, not chewed off, so we're winning there. And somebody's already unhooked the fuel line, so we don't have to worry about sucking up some crappy fuel, so that's a plus. There's the original line right there. All right, hook up the jumper wire to the positive. I don't have any sparks, so that's not so good. And let's touch her to the carburetor and see if we got some spark back here. All right, let's do a little cranky crank, see what happens. Looks like we're gonna be doing the old Mortske flick. This distributor, like, my arm's at full reach to get back here, so this is gonna be a fun one. Of course, the hold downs, this one's in about the best spot possible, but the other one is hidden underneath the wiper motor back here, so that's the worst possible spot. Oh, can we get the screwdriver in there? Oh, it might go. There we go. Yes. Got it. Well, I'm gonna struggle with this and give her the old Mortske flick. You know the trick, nothing to see here. Give her a couple of Mortske flicks. Let's see how she does. Nothing. It does look like it's got a really new set of points, like the last guys who were messing with it, put some points in there. But the hose is rotted off the vacuum advance, so clearly we're gonna have a vacuum leak, so we might have to chase where that goes and block that off. But we gotta get some sparky spark first. Why is that not sparking? There we got her finally. All right, got some good spark going. Put our cabby-doo back on. Try to get our latches, do latchy things. Clearly not going well. I will give Ford and some Mopar engines the advantage on the distributor location being up front, but that's all. So don't get too excited. Oh, with the French toast. All right, let's see if we can find where that vacuum advance line went. I think I found it already. We got a line right back here with no rubber on it. Yep, and it goes down here to the carburetor, right at the base. So I'm gonna go get a chunk of vacuum hose and replace that so we don't have a vacuum leak. Got our new chunk of vacuum hose. We're gonna slide that on there and hopefully resolve any and all vacuum leaks. Just kidding. There's bound to be a bunch more. You know what the beauty of the used oil furnace is? It needs air to run, as in compressed air. So not only do we get to listen to the furnace, we get to listen to the Coleman air compressor screaming in the background too. If you're ever building a shop, even if you don't make YouTube videos and you want it to be quiet, put floor heat in. Yeah, so you don't have to listen to stuff. Take up a bunch of room in your shop. Yada, yada, yada. All right, rant over about furnaces. Just move somewhere warm, you don't have to worry about it, right? Right. Okay, now let's lift this thing up in the air and remove what's left of the exhaust so we can, you know, get a good exhaust cam in there and lighten this thing up. I don't know, I just feel like destroying something. I don't think we're gonna hurt that exhaust any by cutting it off. All right, I think we are exhaust free. I am exhausted. That is a nice pile of crap there. We had goop, we had wire, we had aluminum tape, we had flexi hose, you name it. The whole smorgasbord. The trifecta, if you will. Look at this exhaust though. I mean, it just dumps ideally right into the cab. And I don't know if cutting it off any shorter is gonna help. But same thing on this side. I was gonna cut it off a little bit shorter, but that's just gonna make it even worse shooting into my feet. So I'm gonna definitely want the doors open for this joyride. I feel like, man, he just went all out with the bounty sheets. Had a real bounty on them mice, eh, Duff? A little midnight snack. Yeah, it's about that time. I don't know if we want to fire this thing up yet tonight, but oh, his tail's wagging. He says, get after it. I guess we'll set her down and get some hot sauce. The old Dewaki works real good here for cutting exhaust off. Make short work of it. So we got our auxiliary tank hooked up. Let's see if we can prime the system and see where gas squirts out everywhere, because it seems like that's what happens. We're gonna find out. Oh, I can hear it pumping in the carb. Nothing leaking out of the carb yet. Oh, yep, now she's pushing past the float. Float must be stuck. Let's get our float adjuster here. See if that fixes it. Nope. Well, maybe we just won't use the electric pump. Maybe it's got too much pressure. Who knows? All right, we're about ready to kick this thing off. Kick the tires and light the fires, as they say. Now that we got gas everywhere, this should be real fantastic. All right, here goes nothing. Our crappy battery cable hooked up. I have no idea how that's making enough contact to turn this thing over. There's coil wire hooked up. We got gas running everywhere. Where's our nearest fire extinguisher? Right on the hoist, right where it needs to be. Can't reach the throttle linkage, so let's just see if it just starts and idles. It's probably what's gonna happen, because it's Cadillac, it wants to live. We're 0 for 2 on Cadillacs, aren't we? Oh yeah! Oh no! Oh shit! Oh shit! Let's hope the 390s are a little bit better to us, the old 365s. All right, slingshot engage.
Slingshot engaged.
Oh yeah, that float is way stuck. It's just pumping gas everywhere. So, what if we just unhook the gas line? See if it'll run on what's in there. Instead of pumping gas all over. We gotta tear that carburetor apart. I think it's a 4-jet, a Rochester 4-jet. And we don't have very good luck with those things. Or is it a Carter? I don't know. Either way, they're kind of, well, that wasn't such a good idea, was it? All right, let's see if it starts and idles. Let's give her some throttle action. Yeah, we gotta pull that carb apart. It's just pumping gas everywhere, so that float is clearly stuck down. But that thing runs good. That thing runs strong. Think of 1960. I think Ford's biggest engine in 1960 would have probably been a 406. Did they have a 406? Anyway, they had a 390. And but anyway, Chevrolet's biggest they had was a 348. So I mean, this was another, what's that? 42 cubes on top of that. More than 10%, right? Anyway, these things I have read are real streamers when they're in a hot rod. They do pretty dang well in these cars. I know I drove a 348 59 Impala, and I drove a 283 59 Impala, and that 348 would just stomp that 283 into the ground. So this thing should be good. But we gotta get that carburetor figured out. The old tap trick didn't work, so it's late enough tonight. And we got gas all over, so we got to clean up. We're going to get back at her tomorrow. We're going to pull that carburetor apart. This thing's good. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm glad for once we had a seller that didn't, not that they all lie to us, but, you know, ran it apart. Well, it'll be easy to get running. This thing really was. Clean the points. Cut off some exhaust. Yeah. Put some coolant in it. But, yeah, I didn't hear any strange noises. This one's going to be a good one. So. Furnace kicked in saying it's time to shut her down. Oh my gosh, this one's a shot. Alright, shut her down. Although there's a lot of space under the hood of this thing, there's not a lot of room to set tools and such. I guess core support's an alright spot, but these Capri magnetic trays are pretty swanky, especially on inner fenders like this. They got that big lip. Alright, enough talking about the size of the engine compartment underneath little Maynard here. Instead of pulling the whole carb off, it looks, this might be foreshadowing, it looks relatively simple to just pull the top, and if all we got to do is knock this float loose, then it should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I got the magnet out already because I'm sure we're going to drop something, especially one of these little tiny baby clips here. Just a little guy.
He just a little guy.
All right, let's see if she'll come off of there. Which screws did we forget? Like I said, I don't have much experience with these, and the experience I do have, not so good. Well, they just never worked any better when I got them back together. That's what my wagon had on it back in the day. Oh, I think I found one. Well, maybe it'll come off there. Hopefully there's not a pile of metering rods and such like Quaderbog has. I don't have to take another Quaderbog apart. That would be too soon. What am I supposed to say? If I never have to take a Quaderbog apart again, it would be too soon. Come on. All right. There's got to be a screw in there somewhere. Give her a little pry bar action. It's not liking that either. What is your problem? Sure can't be glued on. Oh. Don't worry, didn't break it. Just scratched the surface. Is there screws under there? Is that threaded in and holding it? Can't be. What in the French? All right. I'm gonna have to do some Google boxing or something to figure out why the French this thing won't come off. Ow. Sure would be nice if we're working on a little hot rod or something here where I didn't have to stand on my tippy toes to lean all the way over, and I still can't even look down that carburetor. Land yacht problems. Oh, look at this, more vacuum leaks. Looks like there's two pretty good size hoses over here that need some attention. I'm guessing that was for whatever was going on here with this vacuum stuff. Success! There was one tiny screw inside of this little pocket here in this air horn, and that was what was holding the whole thing. So, look at that. Look at how nice and clean it comes out. Oh my gosh. All of the float action. And we tore the gasket. Perfect. That screw was right there. All right, we got this carb top off, or air horn, whatever you're gonna call it. You can see all the sludge on these floats. So maybe the weight of that sludge was causing these to not float. I don't know. We're gonna take her all apart and see. And sometimes it's not the float that's sticking, it's the needle that's sticking. So, but it seems like they're moving up and down, and yeah, so there's two needle and seats. I don't know how this really all works out. We'll dig into it some more, but I think first thing we're gonna do is gonna pull these floats off. We're gonna clean them up a little bit, get that sludge off there, and see if they float. Also, if you're taking one of these tops off, that screw in that hole right there, hidden, is what'll get you. I'm sure I'm not the first person. Probably not the last to do it either. Started putting this float back on. I forgot to show you guys. Got our Halloween bucket here. Don't worry, no candies were harmed. And you can see it, no bubbles come up when you hold it underneath. You know, hold it underneath till no bubbles come up. Okay, that's probably the wrong thing to say, but anywho, she floats like a pontoon. And yeah, won't see any problem there. So I hooked up the fuel line, blew on her a little bit. Seems like the needles and seats are doing what they should be doing. So we're just gonna stick it all back together, and I don't know, hopefully it all works. Just fixed itself, right? So we got that top all put back together, and I took a little peek underneath here, and everything looked pretty good, but it looks a little dark in the bottom there, so I scraped around with the old screwdriver. Yeah, there's a little nicotine action going on down in there, so yeah, this thing's probably gonna need an overhaul, but hopefully none of that stuff that I just dislodged goes up into the carburetor, because we don't have any gaskets or anything to make this any better than it already is. So she definitely needs a dip in the ultrasonic cleaner another day, maybe another owner. All right, slide that top on, see if she runs a little better. Okay, let's see how our budget overhaul worked on our Rochester Ford Jet. Let's hook this up to the other red positive, not the other red negative. All right. She might be an idler. Maybe. Maybe. The good news, gas isn't pouring out. We don't want to hook that spring. Did we lose our prime again? Now let's try it. How do we go from getting too much fuel to get no fuel? Well, it tries. I can't imagine the inline sediment bowl and the inline filter are both plugged up, but maybe. Well, we definitely got fuel pressure there. Oh yeah. All of the pressure holding the fuel back. We got the plugs wet. Loaded up. We just gotta clean her out. Well, we have spark. Lots of spark. Okay, it's in gear. It's driving forward. We don't want to have a watch West work moment.
Man, that was dumb. Can't believe I did that.
Good news is the tranny's working. Bad news is this thing wants to pin us against the wall, so let's take it out of gear. Who knows, it might even start easier when it doesn't have the load of moving the entire car against the starter and engine and whatnot. Man, we were revving it up pretty good earlier. Lucky. What's going on now? Seems like it was running a lot better before. Oh, let's take care of that vacuum leak. There's a big T coming off the manifold right there. And this guy was going to absolutely nowhere.
He's going nowhere.
And this plug is just a bunch of, oh, there wasn't even a plug. There was a bunch of tape on it. And looks like we got another one. That one's going, who knows? Anyway, we're gonna plug all of those. And that might possibly help it to run better. Who knows? It's worth a shot, right? We got our vacuum lines all plugged up there, so maybe that's what the issue was. Worth a shot. Well, check this out. I was going to get these plugs, and the old taillights are lighting up. That's pretty nifty. Duff is mesmerized by it, aren't you, Duff? Yeah, it's getting pretty late, but we gotta try this thing out. Oh, I did find the taillights. I had to go grab something out of the expedition and grab these guys. Of course, they're rotted out too. Kind of neat lights. Guide B5-60, because yeah, it's for a 1960. All the time somebody's got a comment on a year, or a vehicle that I don't know the year, they're like, oh, look at the taillights. Yeah, well, when they don't have taillights, per se, the 1970 Le Mans, which somebody bought, thank you very much, Joe Lagaki, that, oh, you're too much, you're too high, yada, yada, yada. But, and then some taillights, like square body Chevy pickup, 7387, they all say 1973, so you could have a 1982, and it identifies as a 1973 if you go by the taillights. So it's not always a fail-safe way to do it. And they didn't start doing that until like plastic taillights in the 50s. Taillights in the 40s are not marked. You're worthless information today. Some of them are, but not all of them. Okay, where are we at? Oh yeah, vacuum leak. Let's try this thing out again. Duff's like, I'm ready for RIDE. Oh, I think that's way better. Huge vacuum leak. Better. I think we shouldn't have played around with the sludge in the carburetor, I think is what the deal is. Definitely need some carburetor attention. Who would have thought? Still seems like a huge vacuum leak. Got the old hot sauce with a little two-stroke mixed in. I gotta believe the float bowls are filling up, but who knows? We'll put a little two-stroke gas oil mixture in there, see what happens. Yeah, I definitely think we're not getting gas up there. So now the float is stuck down. Stay running now. Or don't. Lots of gas there. All of the gas. That's no good. There we go. Okay. We're not setting any fires after midnight. That'd be a bad idea. Our volunteer fire department's pretty slow the way it is. They're probably real slow in the middle of the storm at 12:30 in the morning on a weeknight. So we'll take a look at this in the morning. Maybe it's just the plugs fouled out. Who knows? See if they dry out overnight. We're shutting her down. Well, hey, new day. I don't know if I let you guys know last night, but it was raining pretty good and super windy and it's cold. And I think I said earlier in the video how there was going to be a storm coming. But yeah, I had decided to show up last night. We left the shop about 2:30 in the morning. Everything was good. It was pretty icy on the walk to the house. Woke up this morning at about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and we got no power in the house. So luckily the house came with a generator. The generator is not big enough to run the shop and the house. So we got that going, and we got just the bare necessities running the you know, the Wi-Fi and the TV. Been watching some TV this morning because can't really work in the shop without the TV. Cars were driving by about 15, 20 mile an hour. Some semis about 10 mile an hour last night. And today the plows have been through and they're going a little bit faster. But anyway, we got heat in the house. I did just turn on the floor heat in the shop. I don't think that thing's got enough power to run the propane furnace and or the used oil furnace. So we're just trying to keep it so that like the paint and whatever things in there don't freeze up. But that thing's burning some gas, so of course, you know, all the gas cans are empty around this place as usual. We dumped like the last 3 gallons we had last night into the Cadillac that we're trying to get running, and I was trying to figure out how I could make a video, and I do have some like 18-volt Milwaukee lights that I could set up in there, but I feel like I should probably hang on to those just in case we need them for emergencies. But I don't know, I'm crazy. We'll see what happens. I guess I could roll the car out. It's 24 degrees and snowing and whatnot, but yeah, let's give you guys a tour of what we got going on here. I'm gonna take the golf cart to town and get some gas. See how he's doing. He's got everything under control, but looks like he's got a couple power lines just west of his place snapped off. Usually when one goes, they get the whole row of them, so it looks like there's 3 over here snapped off. No bueno. We're gonna go get some petrol in town. Mrs. Pookie, what are you doing?
Absolutely awful.
Out doing chores? How nice of you to let your husband stay home with the kids and you come out here and feed these baby steaks.
You know who my husband is?
Yeah, he's Pookie.
This is awful. I feel so bad for you.
Let him inside.
I was tied up my horses inside.
Duff, you want to go chase the cows again? Which one did you chase last time? I think it was number 8. Doing it for Dale. Snow, the mail must go. Those guys are keeping after it. Tomorrow's, I guess, Veterans Day, so they probably get tomorrow off, so they gotta get caught up, huh, Duff? Alright, we better get to town and get our supplies. Good thing we're stocked up on sandwiches, eh? Well, we swung into the post office. Looks like we got some fan mail from UK for Lord Duff and Manservant. Apparently I am now known as Manservant. But There is a lot of trees. The school has just a ton of them down. There's a few on the street. Looks like the city boys have been out and threw them off the street. There's quite a few in people's yards, and unfortunately this time of year those things are going to be there until spring. Yeah. Not good. And then also another stretch east of Pookies, between Pookies and town. There's about a little over a half-mile stretch of poles all snapped clean off. So I don't know when we are going to get power at the shop again. So we might be wrapping this video with the Cadillac is barely running. Staines apartments are littered with tree branches as well. Holy buckets. Finally the election's over, so all those silly signs can come down though, right, Duff? Somebody did just message me on the old Instagram. It's Isanti County, Minnesota, I believe. Somebody with the last name of Duff ran for county commissioner. So if anybody could get one of those county commissioner signs with Duff on it, send it our way, because we'll hang it up on the wall. Oh man, they got a big tree down over by the Bobcat facility. Yeah, looks like bare bone staff there. Parking lot's pretty empty. I think they called off. Wow, never mind. Tomorrow's Veterans Day, so no school tomorrow, but school is called off today as well. Pretty much shut the town down. Not good. All right, let's fill up $800 worth of gas cans. Yay! There you go, $69.13 American cents for 19.208 gallons. Hopefully that's enough fuel to get us through the storm, eh, Duff? I sure hope so. Duff, the pheasants look a little cold. You wanna go cuddle them with your mouth? They'll be bare. Hopefully, when it warms up. Roads are not ideal. Here's the line set coming out to our house. Looks like there's two poles snapped off. One there and one there. They're probably gonna have to get them fixed before we're gonna get power again, I got a feeling. And who knows when that'll be. Well, we did figure out which breaker to trip to get the hoist to go up. So I was just playing this with this thing, and Chin is here showing him how it runs or doesn't. And he's like, hey, that tire's turning. I'm like, man, I grabbed the shifter last night. Sure enough, shift linkage here, not hooked up. So I think we got her in park. Chin went upstairs, found the 18-volt Milwaukee. Because we found out that when we flip the lights on in the shop, it really bogs the old generator. Is there a battery in it then?
No.
Of course not. Right. Leave the plastic on there, don't ruin it. Jeez. Gosh, then it won't be new anymore. So there we go, got our Milwaukee light up there, and yeah, shift linkage there. Not hooked up, supposed to be hooked up. Right there to that eyelet in that column. I don't know if somebody unhooked it to pull it out of the weeds or what, but I went back there and spun the tire. It is most definitely in park now, so maybe it'll start and run better without that load of the transmission and rear end. We shall see. Well, day 2 of no power. There's 2 lines snapped off between me and town. They got to fix, I assume, to get power out here. But we got the bare minimum going with the cute little generator over there. But we did figure out how to get the doors open in the shop by powering them up, didn't we, Duff? And I got the propane furnace running in here and the floor heat back there. But watch this, we got lights. But better yet, listen to that poor generator when I flick the lights on. It is not happy, so I don't know that that's sustainable. Comment down below if you know what happens long term when you run the ever-living snot out of a generator. I think we need to look at getting a bigger gen set, something that we can run the whole farm on, because this is 2 days that we're shut down and we can't really do anything, unfortunately. But could be worse, right? You know, the shop could have burned down, or we could have froze the pipes, or we could be starving and dying, but clearly we're not wasting away here. All right, I'm gonna run to town and get some amenities. That thing burns about 10 gallons-ish of fuel a day, so I still got at least another day and a half left. So I think we're good on gas. It likes to run out in the middle of the night at about 4 a.m. I woke up and it was pretty dang cold in the house, so I went and filled her up, and then I just topped her off. This morning here again. Yeah, let's go tour the damage. I don't know if we were having some issues with the camera yesterday. Apparently cameras don't like this, but yeah. Check out Mojo's Employee of the Month sign. Look at the grass. That's grass. That is blades of grass. Every one of those big ice chunks. And we got a little bit more, we got a little bit of snow overnight as well, didn't we, Duff? But yeah, that is the grass, Duff. Yeah, when he stepped on it this morning, he's like, what the French is that? Or yesterday morning, excuse me. All right, enough of me yapping about this. Let's go check it out. And then we're gonna try to figure out a way to take that carburetor off. Plug down the generator or use that 18-volt Milwaukee light or something. It's really not that cold out, thankfully. I don't know what the temperature is. It's gotta be in the mid-20s again. All right, let's head to town. Well, the plows have been out and there is some nice spots, but then where it's been blowing, it's pretty icy. There's a lot of salt. Good thing we got the old Expedition, so we're not rusting anything nice out because this thing is already beyond saving. But right up here, about as the camera dies, there's a couple of snapped off poles. See, that's the second to the last one. There's the last one. And these two snapped off like twigs. Of course, nobody's out here fixing them right now. Pretty low on the priority list, I'm guessing. It sounds like this is the end of the line. There's like me and Pookie and a couple other folks at the end of it, but they do have power on the other side of town. Oh, there's another snapped off one there. Great. 3 of them they gotta fix. Sounds like we're supposed to get some more wind today, so there might be even more than that if they don't do something about this ice, I guess. But my buddies with farms on the other side of town, they've got power. They got power late yesterday afternoon, so they're working our way this way. Not much we can do. Here's the school in town. They got quite a few trees down. I guess there's some pretty big ones around town that are down. Oh yeah, it's deer season, so everybody's wearing their blaze orange. We should probably go fill a tag with them. Where are we gonna clean it? Because yeah, the old generator's not real happy with the light and power situation. Guess we could do it outside, the old-fashioned way. Or just take it right to the meat market and pay the big bucks. Hopefully you voted last week. Well, that was this week. Hopefully you voted Monday. Yeah, there's trees down everywhere. They ain't even got that stuff off the street yet. It's a day later. These guys had a pretty big one come down and dropped on the street, so they had to get that off the street. Oh, it's just pretty rotten in the middle. Not good. A lot of ice, huh, Duff? At least we didn't have a bunch of trees down in our yard. Probably because we don't have any trees. Oh, that one's scraping the roof. Dang it, scratched the paint. Oh my gosh, is this like a Suzuki Sidekick with a snowplow? What a deal. Yep, lines are all broke over here, and I think as we get further up, there's about a half-mile stretch of poles snapped off. These are the lines going to Pookie's house, so he's gonna be waiting a while. Oh boy, she is just glare ice on this gravel. Oh yeah. There's a nice little stretch here. 1, 2. 4 or 5 poles down in a row right here. 3, 4, 5. Looks like 6 and 7 poles they gotta put up right here. So Pookie, he might be running off the old gen set for a while yet. I think that's the longest stretch, and then I think there's a couple more random ones in between, like this one right here. That's down. She ain't good, folks. Not good at all. Good news is, if you wanted to go lick a power line for some odd reason, you hanging low enough just to do it. Hopefully they got the breakers off for you. All right, we got her off there with just the help of the Cyclops and the 18-volt Milwaukee. These lights over here don't bog down the generator much, so let's work on her on the bench. This is, like I said, a Rochester 4-jet. See if I can clean that off with my greasy finger. You can tell by the way that it is.
You can tell that it's an Aspen tree because of the way it is.
These cars also came with a Carter AFB, so similar to an Edelbrock. If we can't get this to work better than it does, I got a bunch of Edelbrocks that probably are no good either, but we could try throwing one of those on the bench or on the old 390 here and see if that works, because somebody's been messing around with this one. Oh yeah, they just ramrodded a screw into there to plug that off, even though that don't need to be plugged when they did their Manuel choke conversion. So I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know if this is even worth opening up and trying to clean up anymore, since how we don't have a gasket set. So I think what we're gonna do, we know that gasket is all tore to crap. We know that it's super dirty, so it should be tanked. And if we're gonna dip it or ultrasonic clean it, we need gaskets, because there's no point in going through all that work of cleaning it and the gaskets are smoked. So I'm gonna grab an Edelbrock from a stash in the dark and see if we can find something that looks a little bit better than this. And hopefully it fits. It should. So I scrounged up this Edelbrock 1405. 1405 is a 500? No, 600. 600 CFM. Manual choke. 1406 is electric choke. And then, yeah, anyway. 500 CFM Manuel choke, which is good enough for what we got to do. And this is a square bore. It's got the dual bolt patterns. But it's a square bore, you can tell, because it's square. Spread bore is, you know, got that staggered bolt pattern, or whatever you want to call it. So let's set our new used gasket on there. And then it does have bigger secondaries, so hopefully it'll clear the secondaries on our Edelbrock here. We should definitely flip the throttle open to see if they clear, because I know I've run into that before. Not that we are gonna need our secondaries for what we do, but we'll check that. So let's get that bolted down. Before I bolt it down, I think I'm gonna go ahead and look for some plugs, and we're just gonna plug off all the vacuum. We don't need any vacuum advance for what we're doing right meow. Okay, meow? All right, meow.
Meow, what is so damn funny? And you stop laughing right now.
He's like, why are you working in the dark over there? We don't usually do this, do we? We do it for the people, Duff. We gotta get the content out. All right, back at her. All right, we got our temporarily permanent Edelbrock on there. Don't have the throttle linkage hooked up. No vacuum hooked up, no vacuum advance, no power brakes, yada, yada, yada. So let's see what happens. I'm sure the accelerator pump's dried up in this thing. How do we choke it? This guy right there. There we go. That easy. Kind of cheating putting a new carburetor on it, but we were really wasting our time by tearing into that one without a gasket set. Nobody local's gonna have one, and in this storm, we're not gonna get anything anytime soon. Did play with the timing a little bit. It's pretty close. Just kidding. It's not liking my timing adjustments. I think it needs a tune-up. Della needs a tune-up. I'm sure this carburetor could use some dialing in. But that being said, we still got to figure out our shift linkage, which I think is just a matter of hooking it up, putting a washer on there, and then dropping the pin back in. We still don't have brakes, and that control arm back there is absolutely annihilated. So we can't drive it on that. And with no front brakes and this ice, there's no way we're taking it on the road. I don't even want to take it around the yard, because if I ran this thing into something else, I would be pretty upset that I probably screwed this thing up, and I'm probably gonna screw up whatever I run into. And driving it's pretty much off limits with that back end, and it is so dang icy out there that it like dangerous to drive the Expedition, which is four-wheel drive and moderately mild bald tires. So this thing would just be a disaster, and we can't even really do donuts because you could do donuts on a bicycle right now. So yeah, I think that's kind of how we're gonna wrap it up. If you think you need to own this thing, hit us up down below, mortskerepair@gmail.com. I don't hide anything around here, so I might have plans for this engine. So if you want to buy without the engine, that would be great. We do have a title for this car. Yeah, we might be keeping the powertrain for an upcoming project, but we'll sell with the powertrain in it. So we'll put two prices down below, one complete, one minus the powertrain. And yeah, if we do end up using the powertrain and nobody buys the car, we'll maybe park the car out, but I'd prefer not to, because then I get left with all the stuff that you don't want to deal with. And that's what I like about selling cars, is selling the car to one person, because then you only got to deal with one person and then the handful of idiots that don't buy it. But if you part out a car, you got to deal with all of the idiots that want to buy parts, and then you get stuck with a bunch of garbage in the end that nobody wants to buy. So this one might be priced a little bit high because, like I said, I kind of got some plans for it, but I still think it's fair. Where are you gonna find a running 1960 Cadillac? And no doubt in my mind this thing would drive because, you know, it was trying to lurch forward on us when we were getting it running. Obviously it needs some tuning and so on and so forth, but yeah, based on the week that we've been having here with the weather and how this has all went down, I think that's where we're gonna wrap it. We don't have much time left anyway. We could, you know, probably fix that control arm and hook up that shift linkage, but we'll see. I don't know if I feel like doing that. Anyway, remember, doesn't matter how you get it done, so long as you're having fun. Cadillacs are so much more fun when they run. Man, I should be a poet. Didn't even know it. All right. What are we gonna do next, Duff? Yeah, I don't know either.